Hey everyone, and welcome back to Sean Synapse. Alright, hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you got to eat some great food, hang out with your family and friends, and of course, watch some football. Okay, let's get right to the trivia question from last time because I know you're all dying to know the answer. If you remember, the question was, who was the quarterback that led his team to the greatest comeback in NFL history, and what is his current position? The answer is Frank Reich, and he is the current offensive coordinator for the best team in football, the Philadelphia Eagles. So if those of you said Frank Reich, good job. He came in the 1993 AFC wildcard game for the Buffalo Bills against the Houston Oilers for the injured Jim Kelly and led his team to the greatest comeback in NFL history. They were actually down 32 points and won the game in overtime. Alrighty. So, if you remember, last show was about the greatest comebacks in sports history. So today I've decided to do the greatest collapses in sports history. Because you can't have a collapse without a comeback, and you can't have a comeback without a collapse. Alright, number 3 on the list. And this is the most stunning end collapse to an NBA game ever. It's the 1995 Eastern Conference Finals semifinals, Game 1 between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Okay, let me paint a picture for you here. The Knicks are up 6 points with 18 seconds left. That's it. All you gotta do is run out the clock, New York Knicks, and the game's over, and Game 1 is yours. But that doesn't happen. Don't forget the Indiana Pacers had that sharpshooter on the other end. Somebody by the name of, Reggie Miller, maybe? So what Reggie Miller does, he basically wins the game by himself. So, like I said, the Pacers are down 6. Reggie Miller drills a three-pointer, and now it's a one-possession game. And then what Reggie Miller does is he steals the inbound pass, steps behind the three-point line, and drains another three-pointer. Bam! Just like that, the game is tied. But don't worry, Knicks fans, you still have a chance to win the game. John Starks for the New York Knicks gets fouled, and all he's got to do is make 2 free throws, and the game should belong to the New York Knicks. However, John Starks misses both free throws, and now the Pacers have a chance to win the game because Reggie Miller then gets fouled. Reggie Miller goes down to the other end, sinks 2 free throws, and the game's over. Indiana wins Game 1 and eventually wins the series in 7 games. Reggie Miller scored 8 points in 9 seconds. Amazing. Number 2 on the list. Oh boy. This one's tough because it really gets to the heart. Now, obviously I wasn't born yet, but my dad is very familiar with this, and I've heard stories about it. The second greatest collapse in sports history is the 1964 Philadelphia Phillies. It's known as the Fold. P-H-O-L-D. The Philadelphia Phillies led the division by 6.5 games with 12 to play over the St. Louis Cardinals. That's it. There's 12 games to play and you got a 6.5 game lead. Well, what happens is the Phillies lose 10 games in a row, and eventually the Cardinals take over first place in that division. And the Cardinals go on to win the World Series over the New York Yankees in 1964. It's one of the greatest baseball collapses in sports history. Number 1 on the list, the 1951 Brooklyn Dodgers. The Brooklyn Dodgers had a 13-game lead in the middle of August. And then the New York Giants just catch fire. They win like 37 out of their last 44 or something like that. So they catch the Dodgers, and the regular season ends in a tie. Well, you've got somebody from the National League has to represent it in the World Series. So remember, they didn't have any playoffs back then. So this was a 3-game tiebreaker to see who would go to the World Series. So the Giants eventually win Game 1. And then the Dodgers blow out the Giants in Game 2. It was like 10-0. So it goes down to the last game of the season before the World Series starts. Now, the Brooklyn Dodgers have a 4-1 lead in Game 3. So it looks like the series is theirs, and the collapse is not going to be as bad as everyone thought because they'll go to the World Series. Well, the Giants come up, because it's in the Polo Grounds, the Giants come up in the bottom of the 9th inning, and they cap a 4-inning rally to win the game and the series. They win the game 5-4. Bobby Thompson hits a 3-run walk-off home run against Ralph Branca to give the Giants the game and the series. It's known as the shot heard round the world. Well, great. Just a great series. Alrighty. So, those are my top 3 collapses in sports history. Now, the trivia question is going to go with one of those collapses, obviously. Now, like I said, remember that Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard around the world in 1951 off Ralph Branca to give the Giants the series. Your trivia question is, who was in the on-deck circle behind Bobby Thompson when he hit his famous shot around the world walk-off home run? That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Keep watching. Get your friends to watch and subscribe. I appreciate it. You guys are great. I'm out of here.